You have to prepare for academic challenges. They are going to come. In fact, that's the first thing that is going to hit you when you settle down in Italy to study. Okay, first I've talked about the cost of the education in case you don't have any scholarship. Okay, you have to understand part-time work regulations. If you're going to be working to sponsor yourself, you have to understand how many hours you need to work so that you don't end up breaking any law.
Hello, welcome to Beyond Borders, Voices from Around the World, hosted by Roseline Oladeji. On this channel, I interview international students and professionals from around the world on their inspiring journey and diverse perspective. New episode drop every Saturday. You don't want to miss it. And remember to comment and subscribe to channel to stay up to date with our latest interviews. Let's dive into story that transcend borders. Here is your host, Roseline Oladeji. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the new episode of Beyond Borders, Voices from Around the World with Roseline Oladeji. So today we have a very, very special guest with us, Dr. Chinedu. Thank you, Dr. Chinedu, for joining me today. And then, before we start, I would just like to share the goals of this interview series with you, which I've tagged Beyond Borders, Voices from Around the World. And the sole aim is in twofold. Number one is to inspire aspiring international students by showing that studying abroad is a tangible goal which is achievable by anyone, regardless of their background or challenges they are facing presently. And then for current international students to be able to find valuable insight and wisdom to navigate various challenges at different stages of their journey, right? And then I know that today, by sharing your story, we can change the perception that studying abroad is not far-fetched, and then empower our audience from around the world with the belief that nothing is impossible. So let's dive into the conversation and explore how you have navigated your academic journey and overcome various obstacles along the way. To our audience, I would say do not forget to like, to comment, to share, and subscribe to this channel. So, welcome, Dr. Chinedu. How are you
Thank you.
today?
Thank you very much, Rose. Thank you very much. I am
All
very
right.
happy to be here with you today
I'm
to
super
share.
excited as well.
Yeah, and I'm very happy for a platform like this where people get to know and have a kind of head start on what to expect. Coming abroad to study. I wish I had this kind of platform or this kind of opportunity to learn in my time before I ventured into this journey. But all
Oh,
these things, all good. Thank you very
yeah,
much for the opportunity.
you're welcome. All right. So before we start, I would like to ask an icebreaker question just to roll out, the conversation. And then on a lighter note, actually, if you could instantly teleport to any place in the world right now, where will it be? And then why?
Hmm, that's a big one. If I could instantly teleport myself to anywhere in the world right now, well, based on my experience that I've gathered already, I think that case would be the Arizona of the United States.
Hmm. Why?
A lot of reasons. A lot of reasons. First, I've always been interested or had it in mind that I have to study based on my field, to
Mm,
study some areas, some very specific special areas of interest as far as geology is concerned.
awesome.
Down for the Grand Canyons of Arizona, okay,
Yay.
and some other places. I need to get there and know what see for myself
Not
what's
so.
happening there and be able to contribute my own quota to the scientific knowledge and the scientific community out there on the
Okay.
state of the art of geology as far as that terrain is concerned.
You know why I like this question? You will see from the answer, you will get to know where the interests of the persons lie. And then, as you can see, you know that it's actually a doctor speaking. So they are all about research, science, and the like. So I'm so excited, and then I'm happy with your answer. That's good. United States. Awesome. Arizona, nice. I will check it out and see what it is like.
It's worth it.
Yeah, awesome. Nice. Okay. So moving forward, can you please introduce yourself and share your academic background, including your journey from pursuing masters? I know you did abroad and then PhD abroad, then to your current postdoctoral research in
Okay.
Italy. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is, like you already mentioned, my name is Chinedu Ibe. I'm a Nigerian, full-fledged Nigerian from Abia State. Yes. So my journey, I would say, began in the year 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, that was when I finished my National Youth Service Corps in Nigeria. And then I was faced with the question of what next? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go?
Yeah.
So, being the kind of person that I've always had academia in mind, I just decided within myself that I wasn't cut out for the industry. So I was going to continue in the academy. So having made that choice, I knew then that getting into, furthering my degree would be the, nearest big thing for me to do, the right thing for me to do. So I went back to my alma mater, the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, actually. Then
Wow.
I didn't have any clue about, traveling abroad or trying to get somewhere else, even in any other university in Nigeria for this particular master's degree. I just went straight back to the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and then I tried to, immediately I got back, well, would I say fortune smiled at me, and I was reabsorbed into the department as a graduate assistant. So it was a good platform for me to start my academic work. So being reabsorbed like that, I just decided to start a master's degree there. So I started a master's degree in 2016, but then along the line, I had some challenges, some problems which I couldn't solve because of the environment that I, found myself. When I built up my master's degree thesis, I had so many questions on the thesis that I couldn't just answer or find answers to. Reason because of the environment again, like I said, that I was. For instance, research questions that the analytical facilities in my university did not just allow me to have, access to the answers. So I resorted to looking for grants, to be able to, you know, get abroad or send my samples abroad for analysis and all that. Luckily for me, I was able to get one. And then I sent my samples abroad to Australia. Okay. And then when the results came back, I couldn't even understand what they were about or interpret them by myself. That was, in fact, a lot of challenges. But then I was able to, it took a lot of, a lot of involvement, a lot of time, a lot of hard work, but I was able to surmount the whole thing. But then I learned a very big lesson. I just told myself, if I have to continue, if I have to continue in this academia, in this line, I have to move somewhere else. I have to just, if I have to be globally visible or to be able to compete globally with my peers, okay, I have to go somewhere else where I will not be constrained by analytical facilities or by anything to carry out my research. Okay, so that was the first thought, my first thought to, you know, looking out, or would I say broadening my horizon or trying to get out of Nigeria to study. So I decided that my PhD degree was going to be abroad, not just abroad. I tried to look at places and then I tried to look at what I wanted to study. In fact, I got to the point of picking out an area of specialization, an area of study. And I decided this particular area, that's where I'm going to. And that was how I chose, of all countries, Italy for my PhD. So, so far, so good. I don't have any regrets. In fact, I have more to be happy and excited about. That with time, it's as if the journey is just even getting started. Okay, there are more as you're developing stuff, you're seeing more problems to solve, more questions that need answers. You're happily, passionately delving into the field, and with everything, with every tool accessible and available to you. So I'm very happy that I am at this point, especially in my career.
Wow.
Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for that. I love the way you have, analyzed it from NYSC since 2015. I mean, that's a long journey.
Yeah.
Well done. So, from then and then you realizing that, okay, this is the path I want to go through. And then if I have to go through that and be really excellent in my field, then this is what I need. And that is what brought about the journey of coming abroad, which is very good. And this I find found to be very interesting and very insightful. Why? Because you already know the reason why you are actually coming. It's not just okay, I want to jackpot from Nigeria, which is not bad in itself, you know, but then it is with a purpose, because where the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. And that's why you see people going through a lot, spend unnecessarily and all. And this will lead me to the second question, which is what mindset should students have when considering studying abroad, particularly maybe in Italy or Europe? And then what advice will you give to aspiring international students?
Okay. Um, First of all, on the mindset, before when you decide that you want to study, you want to come abroad for studies, you have to check first what is prompting that decision. Okay, like you already mentioned, most people have this Jagba syndrome now in their heads. Like people just want to leave for the sake of being in a place where they feel or they think, I don't know why they think so actually, where they think that everything is good, everything is super, like the grass is greener and everywhere it's shining, like they don't have to do nothing and the money keeps coming in for them and all. While some other persons might feel they want to better their chances at creating a better tomorrow for themselves. Okay, so it depends. You have to check first. Why do I want to travel for this study? Do I actually want to travel for study purposes, or do I just want to travel because I want a better life for myself? I don't want to be in Nigeria anymore. So first, you have to define why you want to do it, and I hope that you're making that decision because you want to become a better person. You want to develop yourself capacity wise. You want to be ahead of your peers as far as your research area is concerned. You want to develop yourself so that you can contribute your own quota in your area of discipline. So every other thing, the good life is going to come later to it, of course. But once you're certain that, okay, this is why I want to travel, then you are in a good track. So uh, I could have some certain advice for you if you are on this track to study, especially if you have decided, okay, I am going to travel to somewhere like Italy, for example, for this study. I made the decision to come to Italy for this study not because it's Europe but like I mentioned earlier, I try to relate my field, my discipline. Okay, I'm a petrologist. Okay, I study igneous and metamorphic rocks. So I considered terrains. I considered um, environments that are dynamic and also inclusive, where you get to study and you are in direct contact with your specimens, like you can speak to them directly, and so that was what prompted my choice of Italy. So if you have decided to study in Italy, it's not going to be like the bed of roses. Okay, like you're coming to Italy to study. Italy is quite, in fact, compared to other European countries or even the Americas, or it's quite special. You know, you could single it out for its very unique characteristics. First advice: we know about the language barrier here in Italy. So first, you should start with learning the language. You don't even have to, wait until you arrive here before you start learning the language. No. You can start from home while you're preparing for the job. Start learning the language, start practicing. There are schools you can enroll in to learn Italian language in Abuja, in Lagos, they are there. You can start going. There are applications on your phone that you can easily just, in the comfort of your time, you know, Duolingo is there and the rest of them. Practice Italian. When you're seeing your movies that have subtitles, choose Italian. You know, watch cartoons in Italian. When you're even thinking in your head, try and think in Italian.
Wow.
There is something like that.
Interessante.
So before you know it, you would have developed this. Even if you don't get to grasp the language immediately, you would have developed this affinity, this uh,
Exactly.
love for the language. And with that, it will be easy for you to learn. You have to practice daily. So the language thing is really a barrier. If you don't know about the language and you don't have any passion to learn the language, your stay in Italy is not going to be an easy one. Okay, so number two, try and research the educational system of the place you're going to. The education, okay, in this instance, Italy. I'm saying this because there is now going to be a difference between the curriculum of where you're coming from and this place. It was a kind of barrier for me when I arrived here. The curriculums are different as far as your area of specialty is concerned, and you have to prepare for a different teaching style. It's not the normal style that we have. Okay, in Nigeria, we have this teacher student always in interaction. You go for lectures, you sit, and the teacher now teaches you, and then lectures end, and then you go back.
Yeah.
Over here is different. It's more of like interactive, sessions. You get to say what you think, and the teacher now listens to you. In fact, at the end of the day, it's like you're the one teaching the teacher. So you have to be ready for that. As in, you have to be open-minded and be able to talk, express yourself as far as your discipline is concerned. At the end of the day, you discover that you're actually working harder than you used to
Yeah.
do before. You know, so that's number two. I think number three would be the cultural differences. You have to prepare for that. You have to prepare for cultural differences. It's going to be a complete shift as far as culture is concerned. Over here, the Italian culture is unique. So you have to prepare to embrace it. It's different from what you used to know. You have to be open minded. Sometimes you're going to do things that are wrong and you're going to have people correct you. That's why you need to be open minded. Don't see that, okay, they are against you, or they are not nice to you or something. No. Be open minded to corrections. I did a lot of wrong things. Even wrong thing as it goes to the point of, when you're always greeting people in the mornings when you meet them, and they're wondering why is this person greeting me? That kind of, you should understand that here, most times you mind your own business. That kind of attitude. When you do someone and the person is looking at you, why is that? Or don't be surprised. Or don't be. Just learn. Okay. Just be open minded. That's the thing. And number four, it has to do with the finances. You have to plan your finances. You have to budget carefully. Sometimes, most times, People that come to Italy to study are fortunate enough to get scholarships, regional scholarships and all. But then, if the scholarships are not there, education here is not cheap. There is
Mm.
not. You have to prepare yourself. You have to budget, prepare yourself financially. If you're going to be working, you have to make provisions for that in your schedule and all. Plan yourself. Plan that you're going to be paying some rent, you're going to be paying some utility bills, you're going to, because if you don't, you might get, you know, you might kind of close you up, and
Mm.
then it starts affecting your academics and all. And at the end of the day, you will not have a good stay in Italy. So you have to plan your finances. Number five, I don't know, this one, it has to do with the immigration and your visa. To understand the requirements, understand visa and immigration requirements. That should be like at the onset before you even start planning any other thing else. But it's very important that you understand the documents that you need and how you're going to process them. In fact, the timeline here is very important.
Yeah.
Know when to submit what and to secure what. And then, as far as immigration laws are concerned, study them and understand them. Even when you arrive here, you have to stay informed as far as legalities are concerned. Don't be in Italy illegally. Okay, you will not enjoy your stay. So you
Yeah.
have to know when and how to get your residence permit and all that. You have to understand the immigration rules for yourself. It's very important. Then another thing, number six, would be uh, preparing for the academic challenges. It's not going to
Awesome.
be
Before you go there, sorry, because that
okay.
is exact. I mean, you have really prepared ahead for this, and I'm super excited. You answering the question even before I asked you, but to put it in a very good perspective so that you can help us know, do justice to it
Yeah.
about the challenges that you want to mention now. If you could also add, discuss some of the challenges you faced during your academic journey in Italy and how you managed to overcome them. So it will be fine with the advice you want to add as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So are you saying that should I go back to the challenges? Should I like talk
No, no,
about?
no. You wanted to say something about the
Okay.
academic challenges. Yeah.
Yes.
So I just
Yes.
wanted you to marry them together.
Okay. Okay. Now, you have to prepare for academic challenges. They are going to come. In fact, that's the first thing that is going to hit you when you settle down in Italy to study. Okay, first I've talked about the cost of the education in case you don't have any scholarship. Okay, you have to understand part-time work regulations. If you're going to be working to sponsor yourself, you have to understand how many hours you need to work so that you don't end up breaking any law.
Yes.
This is a new academic environment. You have to get yourself adjusted as quickly as possible to the gamut of the ecological condition that has to do with your academics. You have to adapt quickly. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a good ride. Everything will change from what you used to know before.
Mhm.
Interaction with your professors, interaction with your colleagues, everything will change. And in this case, I would say more is expected of you
Yeah.
than your previous system, right? Nigerian system of education. For the Nigerian system of education, you attend lectures the whole time. Let's say first semester is 6 months. You use 6 months and attend lectures, and then you now come and write one exam, and then that's it. Here is different. In fact, it's as if every class you attend is demanding so much from you because you have to be active, you have to interact, you have to, you know, be open minded. If you have questions, ask them immediately they are coming on your head. That's
Mhm.
when, because professors here, they actually enjoy it when you're staging them, when you're asking them questions, when they get to, when they are able to read you in the inside, it's better for them. So you have to be as open as possible. Take advantage of resources. When you arrive there, you're going to see a lot of resources in the academia. Okay, on the school website, you have online services that will bring online libraries to your disposal. Okay, you have with your login details as a student, you can be able to access publications as a researcher. You can be able to access research articles, that ordinarily they will ask you to buy.
Yeah.
They'll ask you to pay some amount of money. But then with your login details, because the school now has, you know, good a thing, the schools in Italy are really top notch.
Yeah.
Now have this collaboration with the publishers where they pay the publishers themselves. Once you log in and with your details and you click on a paper, the school is already paying. So you have resources at your disposal. That's the thing. And you have to make good use of them. Okay. Anything that will make your academic journey very smooth and easy. Just know that the government team, that's what they want. So it's not left for you to key into it and utilize it, utilize the resources. Don't just, someone would say, pass through the school. And then
Mm-hmm.
you got to allow the school to also pass through you. That's what my secondary school principal is. He's like that. Don't just go through this, but allow the school to go through you.
True.
So you also have your colleagues, your classmates, your peer. You can share your challenges with them if you have any challenges. It's very important. That's my next advice. Build a support network for yourself because you can't do much without a support network. In fact, there are a lot of benefits that you stand to get if you have a support network. Now, this network, who are they? They are your fellow international students because it's not just you. There are other international students like you, Africans, Asians, Americans, other Europeans, they are all there. And they are just like you. So don't restrict yourself, don't keep to yourself. You have to be open minded, connect with them. When I arrived there, it was one of the first things that I did, and it was really helpful. In fact, I can count up to 5 groups on WhatsApp that call themselves experts, like experts and travelers,
Yes, exactly.
that I kind of joined and connected with. These people are international students. They help you to even build your social life, Some weekends they will just come on WhatsApp. Where are we hanging out today? You can
Exactly.
you hang out for things they call aperitivo, and no, I'll still get to that. So you have to maintain connections with these people when you have challenges like any challenge that has to do with your academics. You can you can together solve them as groups, study groups and all. So you have to build a support network. That's like, I don't know, I think number 7. If I'm
Yes.
counting correctly. So number 8, very important, you have to stay organized. And the way you can stay organized is by managing your time. The time is one thing here that you don't handle the way you handle it back home in Nigeria. Okay. Every second here counts. Probably why
Every-
probably why people that work, they pay them by the hours. They tell you if you work for 1 hour. In fact, the minimum wage in Italy, I heard, is like €6 per 6.5 euro per hour. So you see, it's per hour because time is very, very important. So you have to keep track of deadlines. Everything you do here, there's going to be a deadline attached to it. Everything, your academia, everything, up to the point of your permit, residence permit.
Exactly.
There are deadlines. They will tell you, okay, if your residence permit is expiring, you have to ask for another one, minimum of 60 days before expiry of the other one. So these are deadlines.
Yes.
When you have these deadlines, have a notebook where you save them. You can save them in your calendars on your phone. You can save them on your pads. You can write them somewhere in your calendar, but you must keep track of your deadline. Your assignments, your group works, and all of that. They are going to be coming. You just need to keep track of deadline. That's very, very, very important. And you have to balance, be organized. You have to balance your study and exploration.
Yeah.
It's good to explore.
Very well.
Sometimes People just come here and then they study, study, study. It's all study, study, study. They did not say because you're a student, you should now use study and enjoy yourself.
Yourself.
You will not study. Italy is a beautiful, oh God, Italy is a beautiful place. Imagine
Yeah.
the country is like a peninsula
Oh,
surrounded by oceans. How many oceans?
yeah.
I think about three. I know there is Tyrrhenian Sea towards the west,
Yeah.
and the Ionian Sea in the south. The place is beautiful. So
Mhm.
take your time and explore. That is why you need to be able to balance, have like manage your time very well to balance your study and this exploration. In my first year, during the summer time, I went to Romania. Of course, they told us the visa is Schengen visa, so
Of
you are
course.
liberty to travel to the 27 countries, that make up Europe.
Mhm.
In my first year, I just the way I planned it out. I'm not the traveling kind of person, but my study alone, geology alone, has taken me to places that I never even dreamed I could go. But on my own self, I decided, okay, I want to visit Romania. I want to visit France. These two countries in particular. Then I said, okay, this summer I'll go to Romania. That was my first year. And because I already made that plan, I had to now come and fix it in my calendar. And that helped me to plan ahead, book my flight. You won't believe I used €9 to fly with Ryanair from, okay, not Ryanair, no, it was Wizz Air,
Weeks. Yeah.
from Naples to Bucharest in Romania,
Wow.
because I booked much, 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 much
Way
early.
ahead.
Yes.
Interesting.
If you plan well, if you
Yeah.
plan well. In my
Hmm.
second year, I went to France. In fact, till today, if I say how much I used to book my flights and all the itineraries and everything, people just say it can't be possible. It's not possible. But
Wow.
those are what proper planning and organization can get you.
Exactly.
That's
Very
it.
true.
So you have to also explore. Go to any city. Any city you go to in Italy is fun. There are
Then,
beautiful places. There is
yeah.
the sea, the mare for you to go. If you don't know how to swim, by the time you finish staying in Italy, you'll be a champion. In fact, you'll be preparing to go for Olympics. Because it's impossible for you to
Yeah.
stay here and live here without without becoming a fish when it comes
Mhm.
to swimming. So have time to also explore the city.
Yeah.
Okay. Number nine, you have to prepare for homesickness and a sort of, let's call it a cultural shock.
Of course.
Homesickness, especially, sometimes you miss home,
Mm.
and it's if you don't manage yourself well at that time, it could be bad,
Very.
very terrible. In fact, I can remember one day I prepared for classes for lectures, and I just came out. There was this cafeteria, you know, opposite my house. So I was just passing there. I started perceiving the aroma of one local food that I used to eat back home. That day was crazy. I just stopped and went to the cafe and sat there. My
Oh.
my nose was able to sieve out all the other aromas as in the cafe and all, and just project that one.
Wow.
I was homesick. I was homesick, and it was very bad. It was very, so you have to expect a kind of an adjustment period,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you arrive. Okay, when you arrive, it's not going to be, your system, even your body, will be trying to adjust to the new condition that you have subjected it to. So you have to expect that period and prepare yourself well ahead to be able to surmount anything. If you need any support, you have to ask. Okay? Try and find maybe a community of other Nigerians. They are always in every city that you enter. You can find a community. How do you find them? They're always there. You can meet them. You meet if you go to city centers, you can meet people that look like you and talk with them, express yourself. If you go to churches, you're going to see them. In fact, they even tell you there is one Nigerian church there. There is church that Nigerians used to go. go there, meet all of them. In that way, when you talk with them, even people that are from your place, when you speak your language, your dialect with them, you feel more relaxed and at home, knowing that you are not alone. So
Okay.
seek the much needed support and then be
Okay.
open to new experiences. Be open to new experiences. Try new things.
Yeah.
Okay? Try to network. Try to build relationships with your professors, with your lecturers, with your colleagues, with everybody. Okay? Your neighbors, even though they might not be, you have to be careful. Now, with that one, that can be very. So, but just try to build networks and relationships. Always make sure that you stay informed.
Yeah.
Know your surroundings. Know the things that are expected of you. There are, um, as far as your health is concerned, it's good to always know ahead of time what kind of health insurances that are available.
Yeah.
Know what kind of medical care, so that if you have any need for them, you could always go and assess them. So going back to challenges, I faced all these challenges when I arrived, and the thing is, I wasn't really prepared for them. So it was like a huge, huge shock for me. In fact, there is the challenge of, I would call it, systemic differences. This challenge is not from me. It's not from where I'm coming from. It's not because I'm coming from another place. Like, it's just the system itself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I talked about the curriculum, the differences in curriculum, like a curriculum mismatch.
Yeah.
The curriculum where I was coming from is totally different from the one I arrived to. Their grading and assessment is totally different.
Right. Man.
So you have to expect all these things, study them, learn how these people do their grading, learn how they examine people, examine students, know what they are interested in. Just know it's totally different from your own.
You just writing exams.
So prepare for these kind of assessments. Okay. And then there are also challenges that I call bureaucracy.
Yeah.
The bureaucracy here can be crazy. I don't think it's even different from what we have, at home. But you have to recognize that there's going to be bureaucratic challenges,
Yeah.
especially when it has to do with your enrollment procedures and all. You have to prepare yourself and be ready to go through any rigors that is coming your way. Okay, because it's Europe doesn't mean everything is already
Everything
set.
is rose.
When you just arrive, they give you fiscal code that they settle everything. You don't get to do anything by yourself. No, that's not the way it is. If you decide to sit back there, nobody will tell you anything. That's funny enough. Nobody will ask you anything. Nobody will even judge you for that.
No.
Because at the end of the day, you discover what you have done to
Of
yourself
course. Yes. Yes.
by just folding your hands.
Wow. Wow.
Um, I think that's about that. There is also the adjustment to the teaching style. I think I've mentioned a little bit about this. It
Yeah.
was really a challenge. Okay. Here there is interactive learning.
Yes.
I've mentioned it before.
You
There is
said that.
interactive learning. There is a relationship between you. Okay, I'm now speaking from the angle of a PhD student that I am.
Yes. Yes.
There is a relationship between you and your supervisor.
Mm.
And it's not like the same relationship you have at home. Okay. Here you discover that, okay, when I arrived initially, I had this reverence, this fear for my bosses, for my
Yeah.
supervisors. Anything they asked me was always yes, I'll do, even when it was not convenient for me.
Mm.
So anything they asked was possible. It got to a point, even my colleague that was Italian was now, in fact, the lady was, when they asked, Nedu, are you going to be available? I said, sure, Nedu is always available. He's always there. At some point, I started thinking, is this because I experienced the kind of scene where my colleague, the Italian lady, had a very huge misunderstanding with my bosses. And I was just watching to understand the way they were communicating. There was respect, and all. But the lady was sure to make sure that she didn't accept anything that was going to, weigh her down
Yeah.
or kick against her time that she already kick against her schedule and all that. So she was just in her own way turning down duties that were being assigned to her. And then
Wow.
on my own side, being someone that had this fear, this huge fear for my supervisors back home, anything they asked me to do. So it got to a point I just said, no, I can't continue like this. Then when I now understood that the relationship you have between you and your supervisor is supposed to be that of reverence, okay? You have to interact. You have to always interact with your supervisor. Let him know what you want and how this research is yours,
Yeah.
and not even your supervisors. So I think it was in my second year, middle of second year, that I realized that I had to drive this research by myself. Otherwise, I'm going to be in trouble defending it in the end.
Yeah.
So I had to now, I started making decisions by myself. I started assigning duties to my bosses myself. Okay. At some point, I told them, okay, we are going to this field. Just tell me when it is convenient for you. And they were really happy. Things changed immediately. Things just, turned around for the better. They were happy
Interesting.
that I had taken, you know, hold of the research myself. It's no longer them trying to tell me what to do, when to do it, and all that. So it becomes a lot easier like that if you understand that you are in charge of your research, and then you have to do things at your own time when it is convenient for you. If you're not feeling well in any way or you're sick, take some rest, seek the medical care that you need, and make sure you stay away from the whole academia at least to get yourself, to be in a good condition. They respect that. You don't have to put yourself over anything. Okay? So
Wow.
end of the day, that everything is all right.
Interesting. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm so enjoying this conversation already. And if you're also enjoying it, this to the listeners, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So I will actually want you to talk about admission and visa challenges. And the question will be, what do you think actually limits people from obtaining admission and visas to study in Italy? And how can students, prospective students, better position themselves for success? And you have actually answered this one, whether you believe studying in Italy is worth the effort. You answered in the positive, but
Mm.
then I'll still throw it to you. So I don't know if you get the question.
Yes, yes, yes. Um, Beginning with the first one, concerning the visa and the immigration and the possibility of coming to study. Or okay, first I would like to point out that I just read the news 2 days ago where the minister in charge of the universities and research here in Italy was saying that was highly encouraging immigrants to come to Italy to study.
Wow.
Yes. And I've also learned in the course of my study here the kind of preference that is given to immigrants when it comes to the disbursement of regional scholarships. I'm sure you too, you already know about that.
Sure.
So having that in mind, I can see for sure that Italy wants students, in fact, international students, to
Hmm.
come and study here.
Wow.
That's for
This is
sure.
good news.
In fact, they go all the way out to help you in your studies by providing you their regional scholarships, for example, which they
Yeah.
call rights to study for
Yes.
anybody that is interested. Now, the question now is, do you want to go to study and do you have what it takes to,
Right.
you know, gain admission to study?
Yeah.
When I was talking initially, I mentioned, I think, when I was talking about the academic challenges, I talked about their educational qualifications, recognition of qualifications, knowing fully well that the qualifications that you have from Nigeria, it's quite different from how how they rate their own qualifications here in Italy. So
Yes.
that should now tell you that there are some things, there are necessary measures that you need to put in place to equalize your qualification with Italian qualification. So that will now bring you to all the processes that are required for you to uh, be admitted and also secure your visa to come and study here. Okay, let me begin with if you're interested in coming for, let's say, bachelor's degree
Yeah.
or master's degree or even a PhD, a doctoral degree, there are steps that you need to follow in getting yourself prepared and ready for studies. First, you need to get yourself familiar with the universities here, know the course you want to study, and the institution where you want to study this course. Particularly, it's best for you to opt for courses where you're going to be taught in English language,
Yeah.
okay, which is your own medium of instruction in your previous, educational background. So, if you are able to identify the university and also the course that you want to study, the next thing will be for you to apply for the admission. In this case, it's called pre-enrollment.
Yeah.
If you want to get into the department of into the website of the department that you've chosen, it's good. It's okay to learn about the coordinators. This I'm talking to masters and PhD prospective students now. You get to know about the coordinators of the units, the departments where you want to enter, or professors that are in your area of specialization. If you're coming for a PhD, you can go ahead and write them, send them emails, you know, introduce yourself to them, and then tell them your interest, make your interest known to them. Okay, and then they can equally they'll respond to you and then tell you how to go about applying to their school, tell you how you go about you know working with the embassy to make sure you get your visa. So if you get a positive response based on your pre-enrollment, then you can go ahead and start preparing your documents because you have to equalize your Nigerian documents to Italian standards. So first of all, you have to go to the Ministry of Education in Abuja and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You have to go and authenticate your documents. And your documents, I mean, your O-level results, your bachelor's degree certificates and transcripts, your master's degree certificate and transcripts if you're coming for a PhD, and all. So when you are done with the whole walk around in the two ministries in Abuja, you can, there is this website, the universitali.it,
Yeah.
where you obtain your pre-enrollment document. Because you pre-enroll into that university, into that department that you want, and obtain this document. After that, you can now ask the embassy for an appointment to legalize the document, which you already authenticated in Abuja.
Yeah.
So they give you a date, and then you go there with those documents and you get them legalized. When you get them legalized, they also issue you another document they call the DOV. In Italian, Dichiarazione di Valore. It's like equalizing your certificates to Italian standards. Okay, so when they give you those documents back, then you're ready to apply for your visa. Usually, the challenge that people usually have when it comes to visa application is in them proving that they have sustainable means of income back home that is going to sustain them while they are here studying. Usually, they from Italian website, okay, from visa website for Italy, it is known or an individual is supposed to be able to have at least 6,090 euro
Yeah.
okay, as proof of fund in their account or in their sponsor's account if they want to come to Italy to study. So, depending on what the rate is at the point where you want to go for your visa, you can be able to estimate how much in naira that is required of you or your sponsor as proof of fund when the time of application, comes. People don't usually get this particular area correctly. That is why even after getting admission in Italy, after having the support of the university and the department there, they end up being denied visa
This.
because this proof of fund is solely your responsibility to make sure that you have it in place. If you're self-sponsored, you have to make sure that you have this amount of money as proof of fund, and you provide documents to prove or to show that this money they're actually yours and they can be used by you when you are in Italy. If you have a sponsor, the embassy usually prefers that this sponsor is your parents.
Exactly.
Your parents. Your parents are there to sponsor you. They should also have this amount of money in their accounts, and they would also should be able to prove also that this money is theirs and they are willing to support you all the way in your study
Exactly.
in Italy. So, all things being equal, if you have these things straightened out, you're going to get visa because they want you to travel. They want you to study. They want you to improve yourself. They want you to finish your studies and come back home to your country to contribute your own quota and make the country better, make Nigeria better.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have all these things, then you don't have any problems. You don't have any challenges.
Awesome. I mean, this is the ABC of applying to Italy and also getting their visa. Thank you so much. And just to reiterate on what you said about proof of fund, in short, it is proof of funds. So you have the fund and you are proving that you have it and you have access to it. So anything that will prove that
Yes,
you are the owner, exactly. That's what they are looking for. They are not looking for the amount of that money, how bulky it is. You can't just flabbergast them about who I have 29 million in my account. Prove to us that you are the owner of this money and this money will be available to you. That's all.
exactly. Exactly.
Thank you so much for touching on that. So going forward, about bringing partners to Italy and then scholarship. So are there options for masters and PhD students to bring their partners to Italy? And then what consideration or advice will you offer to students in this situation? And then just to add it together, that's two already. But so, what are your thoughts on depending solely on regional scholarship for financial support during studies?
Hmm. Okay, that's a big one.
Really?
Okay. Um, Going straight to your first question about bringing dependents or bringing your people's spouses or parents or all that, I can categorically say that it won't be possible if you are a bachelor's student
Mm-hmm.
or a master's student.
Not sure.
I'm going to give reasons for that. If you are a bachelor's student or a master's student in Italy, the scholarship that is available to you, let's say amongst others, could be okay, the most popular one is the regional scholarship. And for you to bring a dependent, you need some documents. You need to there's a long line on gist of requirements. You have to do the prefettura, you have to do your Nola Osta, you have to, do a lot of things. The person you're bringing, you should be able to have the same proof of fund issue. See your accounts. Your account should be able to convince, the authorities that you will be able to take care of this person that you're bringing in. So, and having that kind of account as a master's student or bachelor's degree student will not be possible with your regional scholarship. Or let's even say that you are working as a master's student or a bachelor student, you are restricted to a part-time work.
Yes.
The last time I checked, I think you're only allowed to work 20 hours in a week,
20 hours. Yes.
a whole week. And given the minimum wage here in Italy for per hour, you will not be able to have that kind of money to be able to host a dependent. But then for a PhD with a scholarship, because some PhDs don't have, it's possible for a PhD student not to have a scholarship. But then I've been a PhD student before here, so I can say, PhD students with a scholarship, yes, it's possible for you to have a dependent, for you to take someone over. But you won't be able to do that immediately you arrive. Like in your first year, it's a time for you to get all the requirements that you need to be able to do that. Okay, you have to, get your accommodation, get your Nola Oster. When in the process of getting the Nola Oster, the authorities are going to come to your house. They're going to do some measurements to check that your house has enough square meters to accommodate the dependent you're bringing.
Yeah.
The dependents. So they have to check that everything is in place, and you can't do that immediately you arrive. You need to settle, and then maybe after the first year, you can now bring your dependent, it could be your spouse or anybody, over to join you. So there's another way, in fact, another way that people are going about. Imagine a dependent trying to bring over his or her spouse, and the person also, the spouse also kind of is very qualified to study, come on a study visa. There's also another route. You could also apply for admission, and then he or she gets admitted, and then he or she comes over with your marriage certificate from Nigeria, which you must have legalized in the Italian embassy. With that same document, you can now go to Perpetua and do your Nula Oster. I have my spouse. Okay? That's going to be the story. I have my spouse here, and he or she is studying, and this is our marriage certificate. I want to do Nula Oster. That is very, at the end of the day, you are in the same position with someone that did Nula Oster to bring over a dependent.
Yeah.
Even though your spouse is now studying. And that even gives you an edge. Any of you can go back home and come back at any time, provided you have other requirements. There's other requirements in check. So it is possible for a PhD student somewhere to bring the dependent. But for master's and a bachelor's degree student, no.
Yeah.
No.
So the second part
can
of
you
solely relying on regional scholarship.
Well, that part is entirely going to be dependent on the student. Okay, some people are very good at not being. How will I put it? They don't require so much money to exist. To do it. Yeah,
But also looking at the way the regional scholarship comes, it's not immediate.
Yes. Okay. Maybe I should just talk a bit about the regional scholarship, so that people will get a clear understanding of how.
Exactly.
If you have the regional scholarship as a student, as a bachelor's or master's or PhD without a scholarship, because the regional scholarship is not compatible with any other scholarship. So if you have the regional scholarship, you have only the regional scholarship. So, depending on the region where you are, the amount of this regional scholarship varies. I know that it's not the same amount that Adisu Pulia, where I studied. I know it's not the same amount they pay that Adisu Regione Campania region, where my spouse, studying. I know it's not the same amounts that they pay. So, depending on where you are, the regional scholarship is paid, at least I know, generally twice.
Yes.
Like 2 tranches in a year.
Yeah.
Because you have to renew after each year. If your master's is 2 years, you have to renew the scholarship for the second year. If you're doing a bachelor's degree, which is 3 years, you have to keep renewing the 3 years that you're studying. So in a year, this money comes twice. It comes about December, the first tranche,
Yes.
and then the second one comes around June.
June. Yes.
Uh, I know that for Pulia. so, so when it comes. We know the amount. Like I said, when I was studying, I think the amount for Pulia for one tranche is about 1,500. I don't know whether it has increased.
Yeah, maybe 1,009, 1,005,
Okay.
depending on whether you are a commuter. They also have.
Yes, that's another thing. Yeah, whether you are an off-site student or you're a commuter or you're, yes. But speaking for off-site, that usually have the biggest share.
Yes.
Okay. Here in the Disu Regional Company, I think their first tranche is about um, 3,800.
Interesting.
Yes. As an offsite, like you're not using their accommodation, you're not using you're not eating their
Food.
food.
There's
Yes.
no way you can't even eat their food in Bari, in Pulia. They will not even allow it.
It's not possible in Pulia because they have their cafeteria everywhere in Pulia.
Yes.
In most of the hostels,
Mm.
you have their cafeteria. They will not be cooking for you and you tell them you don't want to,
You're not eating.
that you want the money.
So they will remove that money food, and that's what
That's
reduces the money as well.
in Campania region, they have their cafeteria in about one or two places.
Yeah. Interesting.
So most of the hostels don't have the cafeteria. So most they just give the students the liberty to say I don't want. But for those students that are staying in the accommodation where there is the cafeteria, is a must.
Of course.
That's so. Let's say you're not using their cafeteria and you're not staying in their accommodation. For this region, you have about 3,800 in in 6 months,
December.
like first tranche. Yes.
Mm.
So it's left for you to now check your things that you have to put your money in, like your house rent, because you're not staying in the accommodation.
Yeah.
You're going to need a house rent. If you're living in the north, like Rome, Milan, Florence, where a house the house rent for a month can be, let's say, minimum like 600 euro per month.
Yeah.
It's really not possible for you to survive with only the
On.
minimum scholarship. Okay, if you're living in the south like Puglia, Bari, where you can get an accommodation for as low as 250, 300 euro per month, maybe somehow, if you deny yourself of the pleasures of life, maybe maybe you can be able to survive. But then you're not just here to study. Of course, like I mentioned, you are here to also explore. And to explore, you need fun to explore. So it is possible for you to take on part-time jobs. There are several part-time jobs. I did quite some when I was studying. In fact, online, because I prefer to work remotely than than to be out there. I had roommates that preferred to be out there. That they did jobs like courier services, where they do deliveries and all that. Some did on warehouses where they do inventories and all that, take notes of things. I just preferred to be in the room. So I know I taught English language a couple of times to students, and then they pay you per hour and all that. And as a PhD student too, I was a tutor the whole time. You know, most times if I wasn't studying, I was teaching in the department. Some students, that's another thing I didn't mention. In your trying to adjust, in as far as the academics is concerned here,
Yeah.
when I mentioned that it's possible for you to access online services of the university, get papers and all that. Also know that you have tutors.
Mm.
You have tutors that you can contact, and then they help to teach you. Some PhD students and even master students
Yes. Yes.
are paid to be
Yeah.
tutors. So
Interesting. Yes.
you just need to get the persons. If it's one course that you're not really following, you just need to get the person in charge. Go to the department's website; it's there. In fact, till today, if my my department's website in Bali, they still have my name there as tutor for petrography, geochemistry, English, and
Wow.
they still write me. When they write me, I just tell them I'm no longer responsible for this. Go to the professor in charge,
Mm.
and the person will direct you to the. So students are at liberty to access these tutors. If you don't write them and book appointments with them, they'll not be able to, you will not learn from them. So what I'm saying is it's much easier. I know that for myself, when I finish teaching my students back then, they are fine, they are okay, and they're more confident going to write their exams. So it's also another avenue of learning.
Yes.
So I was doing these tutoring jobs too, and with that, I wasn't even having getting enough time for myself, coupled with my research.
Yes.
So if you're able to get these jobs, depending on the one that your system is adjusted to, whether it's outdoor or indoors, whichever one, you can now be able to, complement with your regional scholarship, complement it with your regional scholarship, and you live a normal student life.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. I think to comment a little bit also on um what you said around the tutoring job. I think it's usually available to students from second year, if I'm not mistaken, from
Um,
second year of
yes,
masters, and they
yes,
can also use it. Also, for first year, I think they can use it as a support to the academics, improvement and success. Like if they are not following a subject, second year if they are up to task as well in some subject, they can also apply, because I
exactly,
think you have to apply for you to become a tutor, and then they pay you per hour,
exactly,
right? Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And then they don't pay you immediately. Right?
Yes.
They tell you like it's a contract. It's going to finish so and so time. And until it finishes, that's when we pay you. And we pay you like a bulk. You have to report every hours that you've done, and then we pay you based on that.
Yeah. And thank you for also mentioning that part of, augmenting your finances with some part-time jobs outside, which is very, very good. But I think there is a myth, and if you can help us clarify it, on that job is actually really scarce in the South. I don't know how true than the North. I don't know how true or how false that is. If you can help us clarify.
Well, based on personal experience, people can tell you a lot of things. People can tell you there are no jobs, there are jobs. It's left for you to believe what you want to believe and do
Yeah.
what you want to do. I also heard that there are no jobs. But at the end of the day, jobs were pursuing me. True. I can say that for sure because okay, I had roommates that while choosing the kind of work they wanted to do, they felt doing the courier services for companies like Glovo
Mm.
or Just Eat or DHL or Poste Italiane was better for them,
Mm.
and they went for it and they got it. It didn't take time, like they didn't experience any difficulty in
But they
getting.
were Italian, right?
No, they were international students like me.
Awesome.
One was from Albania, the other one was from India.
Do they speak Italian?
No, in fact, I was even
Wow.
better than them.
Wow.
I was better than them when it
Interesting.
comes to speaking Italy. So, when they were able to get these jobs, and I'm like, oh, this thing is very easy. They were even telling me, come and join. You just need to go and get a bicycle. In fact, you don't even need to buy a bicycle, a new bicycle. Then you can just hire one or go to any mechanic and pay small money and take one. And
Mm.
then, but I knew I didn't want jobs that will make me go out.
Yeah.
So I just decided there are jobs, there are platforms that you can get jobs.
Mm.
My LinkedIn till today, they are still sending me adverts, jobs from Barry that have to do with when I started teaching English language, it was from LinkedIn I got the job.
Mm.
It was from LinkedIn. Until today, they are still posting this stuff. It's just that I don't have time these days to come and start. If not, there are many platforms. Check Indeed. Okay, as far as Italy is concerned, subito.it is there.
Mm. Mm.
There are jobs. There are jobs. And nobody should come and tell you because you don't know how to speak Italian, you cannot get any job. It is true that you need to be adjusted with the language. You need to know the
Yes.
language. You're going to get, it's going to help you while interacting with people, communicating with people. But if you don't know the language at first, it doesn't mean you now be broke. You will not be able to do anything. No, no. You just have to put in your CV out there.
Mm.
People need people for jobs. In fact, you'll be surprised there are restaurants that want people that speak English.
Yes. Very
In
true.
fact, there are those restaurants. They'll just if you put in your CV, they'll call you immediately. Then that's it. So don't be when somebody says there are no jobs. Betty is not the employer of labor. Or don't just understand the way the system works by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to get knowledge of how things function by yourself to be
Mm.
able to know how to now thrive in the same
Exactly.
system.
Exactly. Thank you so much. I mean, this is good stuff. I mean, this is what other people pay a lot of money for, and this is open and free for everyone. So, on post-study options, what are some of the post-study options for international students in Italy after completing their masters or PhD? And how can students effectively position themselves for career opportunities in Italy or globally, anywhere in the world where they
Okay, very interesting. I can say without meeting words that the fact that you have become an alumni or an alumnus in any Italian university has put you naturally ahead of you know many people, many of your peers, and it has set you in a kind of platform where you will now get to decide what you want,
Mm.
where you want to go, without any constraints at all. You stand to gain a lot, okay, having studied here in Italy. Number one, your academic credibility and reputation is, in fact, automatically enhanced. You have that feeling by yourself, in fact, that your works, of course, when you finish, by the time you finish your master's degree, you started thinking about publishing something from your research or from your project or something. From there, and and most of the things you're going to do during your study, your works will already start gaining international recognition. Okay, so and you must have built a very strong professional network before the end of your 2 years master's degree in Italy. I know there are things within the master's degree. There are programs like Erasmus or internships
Yeah.
where you leave your base, even travel to another country to go and spend time
Yes.
with new people, new professors, new colleagues, and all. Your professional network is expanded. Okay. Tomorrow, it is those people that will call you or link you and tell you there is an opportunity somewhere. Are you interested in a PhD? There is a grant. There is this. There is that. There is a job in the industry. Do you want? It's those people. See those your colleagues also that you usually go in the evenings to take aperitivo in Italian to go and take small dinner with. They're still the ones tomorrow that will tell you there is this opportunity here. Okay, I'm here and they're looking for one more person. Are you interested? You see, your network is now strong. You have, in fact, within yourself, your academic credibility is much, much more enhanced. And you're now ready to throw yourself, into the world. Number two, you have a kind of broader perspective and cross-cultural understanding. You cannot tell me that at the end of 2 years here that you don't have a firm understanding of Italian culture. Okay? Join with yours so that you will now have this what the English people will call cultural competence.
Yeah.
Okay. Anywhere you are, you can be like, wow, you know how to do this, you know how to do that, you know how this and that is done. So that kind of also broadens your global perspective when it comes to research.
Very
Okay.
well.
You understand things that normally your peers elsewhere are not able to. So number three, you your teaching and pedagogical skills is improved because you have learned how teaching is supposed to be done, which is way contrary to where you're coming from. And you feel, okay, this could be better than that, or that could be better than that. You'll be able to, you know, imbibe this skill, this teaching skill that will kind of make you stand, you know, stand alone when it comes to your area of expertise,
Yeah.
your field of research. Okay, so at the end of the day, you have access to international research opportunities.
Mm.
I'll give you an example. You start to have opportunities in places where ordinarily you wouldn't have had those opportunities if you didn't study, if you didn't have access to the research or to the research facilities you had access to when you were doing your master's.
Yeah.
When I finished my PhD in February
Yeah.
2024,
Yes.
and I started my postdoc 1st March 2024 in another university, another institution, with another professor, with brand new colleagues, which I know ordinarily, if I had said, okay, let me just relax in my comfort zone
Mm.
in Nigeria, my country, I just do the same thing I did in my master, send my samples abroad, collect, go through the same, I wouldn't have the opportunity I had to
Mm.
start doctoral research. It won't be possible. I won't have accomplished the things I accomplished that gave me the edge or that put me in
True.
the forefront of my discipline. It won't be possible. So you have access to collaborative research. You have access to funding. Also, okay. All these things are available for you. It's not meant for you to just relax and decide what exactly you want. Opportunities are going to abound for you. There are potentials for leadership roles.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to, anywhere you find yourself, you already have the skill to lead because you have been able to lead a research by yourself and you finished it and you have been able to prove in your publications that you can lead a team to finish a research. So you have this potential for leadership and in academic leadership or even policy influence for any government that you find yourself. Okay, so there is greater mobility and career flexibility. If you decide tomorrow, I don't want to stay in Italy again, I want to move to the UK, it's possible. What do you want to do? Do you want to do a pre-doctoral or postdoctoral, or do you just want a job? You have what it takes, not just the certificate. You have the skill, you have the technical know-how, and that alone, nobody can take from you. No one can take that from you. So it's just for you to decide. Contributions to even Nigerian academia, you'll be shocked what will be coming your way. I'll give you an example again. Just recently, when I finished my PhD and when I published my first paper for my PhD in a very top rated journal, I started getting um, research articles from home for me to,
Mm.
for me to review for journals, publishing houses started sending me research, people's research. At some point, I got a research article from even you can get research article from professors in your home
Wow.
for you to review because they have seen your work, they know what you can do, and then they give you these opportunities. You see, so your personal growth and confidence level is kind of boosted,
Enhanced. Yeah.
and that
Thank
will
you.
be able to go anywhere you want to go, do anything you want to do.
Yeah, and I want to actually I love to ask this question from people that have done PhD before. Do you think PhD is for everyone that is for everyone basically, like someone that has finished masters? Do you think PhD is the next step?
No, now
Mm.
PhD is not for everyone. No, if you want to embark on the journey, 4 years journey,
Hmm.
you have to, in fact, when I was talking about masters, I said you have to ask yourself some questions why you want to do what you want to do. When it comes to that PhD, there's more to it.
Mm.
At that point, you have to have cogent reason why you want to do that PhD. And you have to be convinced within yourself that you're going to start and you're going to finish.
Mm.
It's never an easy ride. You have to have a cogent reason why you want to do a PhD. People don't do PhD for fun, for the fun of it. Nah, people don't do PhD for fun. You have to want it,
Mm.
and passionately need it for you to embark on the journey. For me, I would advise that it has to serve a purpose for you. If not, you might not be able to complete the degree. Yeah,
Yeah.
you might get frustrated in the middle of it,
Mm.
and you now ask yourself, what am I even doing this for?
Mm.
And you could find yourself backing out. If you back out from a PhD, especially in Italy here, where you're given a scholarship, you pay back the money that they paid you.
Oh, sure.
So you see why you now need to convince yourself that it's a journey that you need
Mm.
as far as your career is concerned.
Thank you so much for this. I mean, and this will also prepare people ahead of, that they know what they are signing up for. It's not just for I just want to get out of Nigeria and then I want to come for PhD. Is not 2 years. It's not 3 years. It is no for Italy. I think some are 3 years, some are 4 years,
Yeah, they say
depending
it's
on
three
where they're
years.
doing it.
They say it's
Yeah.
3 years in Italy because
Mm.
they have to pay you. They want to pay you lesser time,
Of
3 years.
course. Yes.
But then at
Yes.
the end of 3 years, you're still on it.
Of
You're
course.
trying. It's either they are reviewing your work or you're making corrections and all that.
Yeah. So, because of time, we've kept our talk up a long while. Thank you so much. But the last official question. So, reflecting on your academic and professional journey so far, what factors or strategies have contributed most to your success? And if you have an opportunity to do it again, is there something you think you would have done better or something?
Well, factors that have contributed to my success, the success of my PhD. First is determination.
Yeah.
You have to be determined. You have to know what you want and know that you have to finish this journey no matter what.
Mm.
It's just like when you're getting into, for people that are married, when you're getting into marriage and you tell yourself, well, let me just go into it and see how it goes. If there are ups, good. If there are downs, I'll back out. Okay? No, you don't do that when it comes to PhD. No, you have to decide from the onset. This is the beginning. This is going to be the end. You're
That's
going to
true.
do all the determination that requires. Now, secondly, you have to be persistent.
Mm.
You have to work hard, and you have to be curious. Curiosity is like a main engine that drives the PhD.
Mm.
You can, at the onset, you can develop a proposal very easy. You can know what you want to do, how the research will go. You build a very easy stuff, you know. But then, when you start getting your results, you discover that they are now different. It's now a different thing from what you expected.
Mm-hmm.
In your proposal, you see something like expected outcome.
Yeah.
That thing is a scam. It's a big scam because there is no outcome that is expected here.
Mm.
Okay. So when it comes, it's not left for you to open up yourself. Take it as it is. Ask questions why things are the way they are.
Mm.
You have your data, a lot of questions are coming from them. And when they are coming, don't keep it, somewhere. Don't just no, because in the end of the day, they're going to form your thesis. You're always going to be on it. At a point, I discovered that even during dinner sessions, my mind is not on the table.
Okay.
It's on the data. Everything I was doing then was now relatable to the data that I have
Mm.
got from my work, you know. At some point, you never know. Something can just hit you. Like a valid point can just hit you so hard in the head. It is. That's why it's good for you to always have your notepad anywhere around you, anywhere you're going. As from my second year, my iPad became my best friend. Because once you come, you can come anywhere. You can be traveling in a bus, something will just come. You have to just write it down
Right.
because you're going to need it. And at that point, your tutor, your supervisor is your best friend. Your supervisor is your father, is your mother, is your siblings, is everything. No matter what you do, don't have a problem with your. Just work with your tutor, work with your tutor through all the questions. In fact, it got to a point where even your tutor is now challenged by your work.
Mm.
Right, the tutor starts seeing things that normally he had no idea before having it. And then you guys together, you start figuring things out. That's how a PhD is like a brand new research. No one has ever done it except you. No one has ever gotten the results you've gotten before except you. In fact, the way PhD is assessed, the way mine was assessed in the end, they ask a question: are the results innovative?
Yeah.
Answer has to be yes. The assessor has to tick yes. If not, it's a problem.
Mm.
So you don't give us what was already in the literature review, what has already been worked on or something. It has to be novel. So all your heart, your body, soul, and spirit has to be devoted to it. That's
Mm.
so as good as it gets, make sure you are always, all these other points that I already listed at the beginning. You always make sure that you're balanced, you're very
Yeah.
healthy. If you want to go and get married when you are doing your PhD, don't do it in your first year. Some people do that. Some people do that, and I don't. In fact, the kind of grace on their head is if you want to start a business, don't do it in your first year. Just wait and see how the PhD envelopes, and then you can get it.
Mm. So if you could do anything better, do you think you could have done anything better?
If I could do anything better, I would be better organized.
Mm.
I would enjoy myself better because better planning is better enjoyment.
Mm. So,
Okay, it's better exploration, better planning, better exploration, and
sure.
I could have worked harder. You know, not just working harder, working smarter. There were just a lot of work I did which I killed myself over. That when I
Wow.
look back today, I could have done this thing in a very smarter, a better way, and
Mm.
save myself the stress and the time. But when it comes to my area of specialization and the passion in this study, even in my next life, I'll do it again.
Awesome. Awesome. I mean, that's very good. Thank you so much. I mean, we've gotten a lot of insights from you today. And thank you for sharing your journey with us, beyond borders, voices from around the world. And your insight and experience will undoubtedly inspire our audience. I'm so sure of that, sincerely. Before we wrap up, I don't know if there's anything you'd like to share, any final word of wisdom from the guru himself, the doctor.
Well, just a summary. If you're coming to study in Italy, you've made a very good, great decision.
Mm.
And it's going to be one of the best things that will ever happen to you. The Italy experience. When you come, balance yourself, work smartly, get what you came for, and then don't miss out in the exploration part. There's a lot of cultural events and festivals in Italy, from the Carnival of Venice, which is usually February to March, to Festa della Repubblica in June 2nd, if you've heard of Paco de Junio. In fact, it happens everywhere. It's usually very festive. And there are a lot of, Italy has a lot of local traditions, La Passeggiata, where people walk around in the evenings, greeting people and all that, aperitivo. a lot of them. Just make sure you get yourself, soak yourself into the culture, okay, so that at the end of the day, people will also know that you've been here,
Yeah.
and you know you didn't just go through these things. You allowed Italy to
It's
go
true.
through you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, that is actually filled with a word of wisdom. It's not, it's better to do something, whatever your hand finds to do, it's good to do it and make it worthwhile, you know. And I've learned a lot, and I'm so sure the audience will also learn a lot. And then if you have gained anything or you have any question, any comment, make sure you drop them in the comment section. And that concludes today's episode. So stay tuned for more inspiring stories on this channel, Beyond Borders, Voices from Around the World with Roseline Oladeji. And I'll say thank you to our guest again, Dr. Chinedu Ibe. God bless you as you shared with us today.
Okay, thank you.
And yeah, so please enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.